Hello everyone. Today, Group 2 includes 4 members Đặng Quang Duy, Trần Thị Mỹ Dung, Nguyễn Mỹ Duyên, and me, Lê Văn Tiến Đạt. We'll have the presentation about Lesson 14, Acupuncture. Lectures Miss Lưu Thị Diệu Oanh. My presentation have 4 parts: new words, reading, exercise, and language focus. Now we move to new words. Acupuncture. Acupuncture nghĩa là châm cứu. Point. Point nghĩa là huyệt. Rheumatic. Rheumatic nghĩa là bệnh thấp. Acupressure. Acupressure nghĩa là xoa bóp bấm huyệt. Alleviate. Alleviate nghĩa là làm giảm đau. Next. Shiatsu. Shiatsu có nghĩa là phương pháp xoa bóp bấm huyệt. Trigger point. Trigger point. Trigger point nghĩa là điểm kích thích. Twirling. Twirling nghĩa là vê kim. Analgesia. Analgesia có nghĩa là sự giảm đau. Vulnerable. Vulnerable có nghĩa là dễ bị tổn thương. Ulcer. Ulcer có nghĩa là loét. Hypertension. Hypertension có nghĩa là cao huyết áp. Asthma. Asthma có nghĩa là bệnh hen phế quản. Inhibitor. Inhibitor có nghĩa là chất ức chế. We had the video about inhibitor. Neurophysiologist. Neurophysiologist có nghĩa là bác sĩ chuyên khoa sinh lý học thần kinh. Now we move to reading. Acupuncture. Acupuncture is an ancient Chinese medical procedure involving insertion and manipulation of needles at more than 360 points in the human body, applied to relieve pain during surgeries or in rheumatic conditions, and to treat many other illnesses. Acupuncture is used today in most hospitals in China and by some private practitioners in Japan and elsewhere, including the United States. Acupressure, a variant in which the practitioners use manipulation rather than penetration to alleviate pain or other symptoms, is in widespread use in Japan and has begun to find adherents in the US, also known as shiatsu. Acupressure is administered by pressing with the fingertips and sometimes the elbows or knees along a complex network of trigger points in the patient's body. History. Acupuncture needles dating from 4,000 years ago have been found in China. The first needles were stone, later bronze, gold, or silver were used, and today needles are usually made of steel. Initially, needles were used only to prick boils and ulcers. Acupuncture was developed in response to the theory that there are special meridian points on the body connected to the internal organs. Thus, vital energies flow along the meridian lines. According to this theory, diseases are caused by interrupted energies flow, and inserting the twirling needles restore normal flow. Treatment. The primary use of acupuncture in China today is for surgical anesthesia. Chinese surgeons estimate that 30% of surgical patients obtain aquatic Anesthesia with acupuncture, which is now done by sending electrical currents through the needles rather than by twirling them. American physicians who have observed surgeries done under acupuncture have verified that it is effective in some patients, but put the figure close to 10%. Brain surgery is especially amenable to this form of anesthesia. Chinese surgeons claim that acupuncture is superior to Western drug-induced anesthesia in that it does not disturb normal body physiology and therefore does not make the patient vulnerable to shock. Chinese doctors also treat some forms of heart disease with acupuncture as part of an attempt to put the practice on a more scientific basis. They studied the effects of acupuncture treatment on more than 600 people with chest pain caused by reduced blood flow to the heart. They claim that almost all the patients greatly reduced their use of medicine, and that most were able to resume work. Other physiological conditions treated with acupuncture are ulcer, hypertension, appendicitis, and asthma. How occupation how acupuncture works remains uncertain. Both Western and Eastern scientists have shown by producing acupuncture anesthesia in rabbits that the effects are not simply a matter of suggestion. After the discoveries in 1975 of enkephalins and endorphins, natural pain inhibitors in the body, some neurophysiologists suggest that the needle may trigger the release of one or more of these substances, which inhibits pain signal by blocking their pathway through the spinal cord. This view is supported by both American and Chinese studies, so in that placing acupuncture needle in certain parts of the brain does cause a rise in the levels of endorphins in the spinal fluid. Scientists in the US have also shown that acupuncture anesthesia is at least partly reversible by naloxone, a drug that blocks the action of morphine and morphine-like chemicals such as endorphins. Now we move to the exercise. Exercise 1.1. Choose a word from within the pairs to complete each sentence. We have 4 questions. Question 1, 2, 3, 4. You will have 1 minute to finish it. Good luck. Okay, now we check the answer together. Number 1. There are more than 360 points in the human body. Number 2. Acupuncture is a method of producing anesthesia by inserting fine whitening needles into the skin at specific site on the body. Number 3. Acupressure variant of acupuncture is administered by pressing with the fingertips and sometimes the elbows or knees along a complex network of trigger points in the patient's body. And question 4. In acupuncture, special needles are inserted into the skin at specific sites on the body along a series of lines or channels called meridians. Next, we have question 5 to question 8. You will have 1 minute to prepare. Good luck. Okay, now let's check together. Question 5. Acupuncture is now done by sending electrical currents through the needles rather than by twirling them. Number 6. It has been verified that acupuncture is effective in some patients, but the exact percentage is still being debated. Number 7. Chinese surgeons claim that acupuncture is superior to Western drug-induced anesthesia. Number 8. Israel claim that almost all the patients treated with acupuncture greatly reduced their use of medicine and that most were able to resume work. Do you have the correct answer? I hope you all have a correct answer. Now we move to the game called Wheel of Fortune, but the condition is impossible, so we just answer the question from question 1 to question 6. Question 1. To control in a skillful way, it means manipulate. To block is inhibit. Inhibit. To make less serve. Alleviate. Alleviate. Number 4. To stay in the same condition or state is remain. And number 5. That is true by careful study or investigations is verified. Number 6. To state that something is true or is a fact. Claim. 2. Comprehension. Exercise 2.1. Answer the following question. Question 1. How is acupuncture different from acupressure? How is acupuncture different from acupressure? Do you have answer? This is my answer. Acupuncture involves insertion and manipulation of needles at more than 360 points in the human body. Acupressure is a variant of acupuncture in which the practitioner uses manipulations rather than penetration to alleviate pain and other symptoms. It is administered by pressing with the fingertips and sometimes the elbows or knees along a complex network of critical points in the patient's body. Question 2. Why is acupuncture thought to have more advantage than modern drugs? And my answer is Chinese surgeons claim that acupuncture is superior to Western drug-induced anesthesia in that it does not disturb normal body physiology and therefore does not make the patient vulnerable to shock. Question 3. What are some disadvantages of acupuncture that you can think of? Have you finished? Okay. We have 5 disadvantages of acupuncture. First, it's dangerous if a patient has a bleeding disorder or chest blood thinness. Second, bleeding, bruising, and soreness may occur at the incision site. Third, unsterilized needles may infect the patient. Fourth, in rare cases, a needle may break and damage an internal organ. And the last, when inserted deeply into the chest or upper back, there is a risk of carpal lungs, but this is very rare. Exercise 2.2. Fill the blank with one appropriate words. Question 1, 2, and 3. You will have 1 minute to prepare for it. Have you finished? Okay, let's check together. Number one, acupuncture is applied to reduce pain and to treat many other diseases, as well as to help operations to be performed successfully. Number two, acupressure today is used widespread in many countries, including Asian and European ones, and there are also adherents in the United States. Number three, fingertips are the means used to press along a complex network of trigger points in the patient's body. Next, question 4, 5. You will have 1 minute. Okay. Number 4. It is believed that there are special points on the body that have a connection to the internal organs, and from these points flow the vital energies of the body. Number 5. American physicians have also verified that the verified the effects of acupuncture on some patients during operations, but they consider the figures is only 10%. Okay, do you have all correct answer? Yeah, I hope so. Now we move to answer 5 questions. Number 1. Acupuncture is an oriental medical procedure involving, yeah, insertion and manipulation of needles at more than 360 points in the human body. Okay, next. Question 2. Naloxone is a drug that blocks the action of morphine and morphine-like chemicals such as endorphins. Question 3. The passage is mainly about the history of acupuncture and use of acupuncture in treatment. Question 4. The primary use of acupuncture in China today is for surgical anesthesia, but this medical procedure is also used to treat some form of heart disease. Question 5. Acupuncture is applied to release pain during surgeries or in rheumatic conditions, and to treat many other illnesses. Exercise 2.4. Fill the blank with the words given below. Okay, you will have the paragraphs and 2 minutes to finish it. Good luck. Okay, now let's check. Acupuncture is a traditional Chinese system of healing in which symptoms are released by thin metal needles inserted into selected points beneath the skin. The needles are stimulated either by rotation or more recently by an electric current. Recent hypotheses suggest that the needle activates deep sensory nerves, which cause the pituitary and midbrain to release endorphins, the brain's natural painkillers. Acupuncture is widely used in the Far East for the relief of pain, and in China itself has become an alternative to anesthesia for some major operations. Acupuncturists in the West may be medically qualified, but many are not. 3. Language focus. Explain why the underlined phrase are placed at the beginning of the sentence. 1. Apply to release pain during surgeries or in rheumatic conditions and to treat many other illnesses. Acupuncture is used today in most hospitals in China and by some private practitioners in Japan and elsewhere, including the United States. 2. Also known as shiatsu, acupressure is administered by pressing with the fingertips or sometimes the elbows or knees along a complex network of trigger points in the patient's body. Both sentences start with a past participle phrase, which modifies the subject of the sentence and indicate the cause when preceding the main clause. Có nghĩa là cả hai câu này đều bắt đầu bởi quá khứ phân từ. Nó bổ nghĩa cho chủ ngữ của câu và nó chỉ ra cái nguyên nhân mà diễn ra trước của cái mệnh đề chính. Note: Be careful when combining sentence and converting one a participle phrase to keep the subject of the sentence. Thus go with the adjectival phrase. Chú ý là chúng ta phải cẩn thận khi mà nối các cái câu và chuyển quá khứ phân từ trở thành một cái chủ ngữ thì nó thường phải đi với một cụm từ chức năng tính từ. Thanks for watching.